here we go. Lesson number 8. In lesson number 8, we're going to dive into finally drawing the mouth. Okay, so let's see what we've got here. Basically, we already have part of the corner down of the mouth, that little mark. And now what we're going to do is just try to get the other corner. And I'm looking at the distance of the corner of her mouth in relationship to the edge of her face, where her face touches her hair. Right there, you see? So I have that corner and that corner, okay? And now we want to get the angle of the center of the lips. Okay, good. So that is our starting point. Now that center of the lip is very important. So when we get that in, it's very light. We're going to get the low point of the cast shadow that the lower lip is casting on the chin. An angle for the upper lip. It's kind of making a triangular shape right over there. Now come down to the center. Angle for the other side of the upper lip. We can raise it ever so slightly. And we're looking at the distance between the upper lip and the cast shadow that the nose is casting. Curve that down. Lots of angles when it comes to lips. Very much the triangular shape with that upper lip. Do a little bit and compare it. Compare it to the nose. Compare it to the eyes in terms of the width of the lips. There's a little dimple right at the center there between the two lips. Lips are very cylindrical. You want to think about the upper lip as turning under to become an underplane, and the upper lip being a cylinder that is more of a top plane, and the line that separates the upper lip from the lower lip has lots of angles. It's not a straight line. Now establish that cast shadow. Now we can start to figure out, okay, is that chin too long? Is the chin too short? Let's make sure that we have the proper width. So when I look up from the corner of her mouth, it lines up with her pupil. That is angled level, and then it angles down. Then it angles level again, or angled up. Lots of angles separating the lips. I'm using my left hand to pet the dog. I can't pick her up right now. She's about 25 pounds, and she's going to fight me. But we have thunder outside, and she's petrified of thunder. Okay, this is good. We're making progress. Let's get a little bit of the neck in, and we're relating that neck placement to the nose and the lips. We're looking at that dark hair as a negative space. So what I'm trying to do now, and you should do the same thing, when you draw the lips, it's now a time for you, before you commit to drawing the lips like so realistically with all this time put into them, you look and see what's around the lips. How's that chin length doing? Now we look at the whole face. How's the whole face look? Let's pull that up. Let's draw in the line that separates the light from the dark. That's where the front of the face touches the side. It rolls in to the underplane of the chin. The chin is an oval. See that? That is our line that separates. That is our dark halftone. Get the three angles of the jaw. Okay. Good, good. We're finally starting to make a little progress here. Now the ear placement is tricky. It's tricky, and I'll tell you the reason why it's tricky, because I stared at it like forever. It's pretty far to the right, her ear. I'm just trying to line things up. This is where you want to do some of that gesture line where you connect things with imaginary lines. Like you can connect her part, you pull a line straight down and you connect it to maybe the edge of her nose. You just have to commit, and with a light line, and lean back. How's the edge of her hair now? Look at the distance from the right of her ear to the edge of her hair. It's a lot of subtle targets, okay? Just where's the bottom of her ear in relationship to the bottom of her nose? Just draw it out very lightly. If it's wrong, we can fix it, not a problem. If it's light. Now the distance between the edge of her ear and the edge of her hair looks pretty good there. So we're doing these targets, these lines, these angles. Let's get the angle of her shoulder. So we're branching out in a very big way here because we have confidence with the eyes. Let's get the angle of that upward. You have to be careful with the lips that it's very easy to make what I would call Joker lips. Joker from the Batman movie, where you go too dark at the corners of the lips and you lift them high. I see that she has a little bit of a smile she's holding back because I made her laugh a couple times. I was probably making fun of my son Luke, who she primarily watched, and she started laughing. So she has a little bit of a turn to her lip up. Now let's try to get that, just like her eye, her right eye, the lower eyelid, this part of the lip mimics that lower eyelid. It's the same type of shadow shape that turns under and around. And that's what we're trying to get. That little part, the corner of the mouth, compare that to the nose. Now look at the distance from that cast shadow once again to the bottom of the chin. Do we need to lower the chin or raise it? Some of these measurements are really subtle. There's a couple of angles now with the cast shadow of her lips. Do you see that? Don't just draw like a generic curved line. Look at some of the angles that will help to show the form of the mouth. Little corner there. Okay, and then there's a gradation. It's a little dimple. It rolls under, and then it has a top plane. What I'm doing now is what I always do, draw shapes. Shapes for me are the cornerstone to every portrait. We now have 3 dogs in the studio. I have a fairly big sized house, and everybody's here in my studio with me. And I feel like I have snakes around me on the floor. So let's just adjust now with the eraser. Hopefully they'll allow me to get through this video here. Let's lighten that ever so slightly. Maybe we can readjust it. Maybe I'll show you my daughter's dog, Bubba. Bubba's not a pretty dog. At least I don't think Bubba's a pretty dog. You want to look at the camera, Bubba? No? Bubba's new. Bubba is, trouble. Lots of trouble. He's a puppy and he wants to play. And my other dogs are adults. They're French bulldogs and they don't want to play with him. So he usually comes to me, and they shaved the top of his head because he had all knots, and then he started biting them. So the people who were trying to groom him did the worst job ever. So he just looks strange. You're not really my type of dog, Bubba, but I don't have much of a choice. So let's get back to these lips now. Just trying to do the placement of the corner of the lips. Soft and middle tone right now. Soft and middle tone. Turning plane of the chin. It turns into the hair. Very good. Okay. And now don't go dark with the line where the chin touches the neck area. It just should switch over to a fairly middle tone value. Okay, there's a shape of dark over there on the hair. Now, long pencil strokes near the jaw to establish the side plane. See what I'm doing there? I'm curving around her face. curving around the cheekbone, long pencil strokes, not short, choppy ones. Lots of grace now with this, just to kind of get your first layer of tone in, and that establishes what is called the side plane of the head. Okay, what we need to do next is get the other side of that neck. We're getting there now. More turning plane, the ball of the mouth. I will be doing short little drawings that have to do with the features, but in a very, very rough way. I'll be doing that in the screencast videos for the topics for this course, but I'm also going to do short drawings with the pencil. I did this. See, this drawing's pretty small, 2.5 inches, her face. Yeah, it's classic 2.5 inches wide. I did that on one of my first portrait drawing DVDs. I drew all of the features of the face in a very, very quick way, very, very rough way. And I want to do that again for you guys. But for this course, I'm going to do it very, very quickly in the form of a screencast video. So you see, you need to get that little dimple of her mouth. It wraps around the cylinder. And then sometimes, if you can catch this, if you have enough room, the upper lip casts a shadow on the lower lip. Okay? There's no white over there. We need to destroy the white. There is a little bit of a highlight on the top of the chin, but not much. So let's just establish the dark. I have two dogs wrestling in the background. We have about a little less than a minute left here. Let's just establish this dark a little bit. There's a nice dark shape over here that is going to allow that chin to pop into the foreground. Okay. Now let's just try our very best to map out the shadow shape on the neck, and let's see what that does for us. So did you ever think you'd be watching a teacher teach you how to draw a portrait and you hear the dogs growling in the background? I'm going to have to close my studio door and bring them downstairs. Okay, establish the other side of the neck, and when you do that, stop and look. See you in the next lesson.